Hey, Glenn Stevens here, and this is the beginning video for a brand script that we're going to be putting together for Reach Network here at the EFCA. What I'd like you to do is, there's going to be videos you can watch, and then I also will have a worksheet, just a Word document that you can use to do the assignments that come after watching the videos. This is all for preparation for the brand script meeting that we have coming up. The work that we'll be doing on this will help us to craft a great website page, like a landing page for people who are interested in church planting and checking the free church out. So, any work you can do on this ahead of that meeting will be awesome and fantastic. When this video is done, just grab that worksheet and go ahead and do the assignment that comes on the transformation part of the brand script, which you'll see is at the very top of the worksheet, but is really the end result of the story that the brand script is telling. So it's like we're starting with the end so we can do the rest with the end in mind. Not a bad plan. All right. Enjoy watching this video. I'm going to share my screen so you can. And here we go.
The first part of our brand script that we want to figure out is actually the last thing on the brand script. I mean, physically, when you look at it, it's the last section of the brand script, and it's called identity transformation. And it has to do with this. Who are you helping your customer become? All stories are really about transformation. They're all kind of the same in that way. I mean, at the beginning of the story, you've got a hero, right? And the hero is weak, and they're afraid, and they're scared, and they're not sure they can get this job done, and they're doubting themselves, they're ill-equipped, they're unskilled. Heroes we always think of as really strong characters. They're not. They're weak characters, but they become strong. They go on this journey. They have to overcome this problem. They have to fight this villain. They have to challenge themselves, and in that challenge, they begin to grow. And at the end of the movie, usually right at the very end of the movie, I mean, literally minutes before the end of the movie, you realize, and the hero themselves realize within the story, oh my word, I'm different. I'm a different person than I used to be. I'm actually skilled. I'm actually equipped. I'm strong. I'm brave. I know what I'm doing. I'm sure of myself. Stories are about transformation. And there's a reason that so many stories, almost all stories, are about transformation. And it's this. It's what human beings want more than anything else. We want to transform. We are all enticed by the prospect that we might be able to become a better version of ourselves. And that has a lot to do with our messaging and our branding. And this is why brands that participate in the transformation of their customers win. Brands that actually help their customers become better versions of themselves win. When you think about it, when Steve Jobs came back to Apple and Apple became one of the biggest companies in the world, he almost stopped selling computers and he began to sell an aspirational identity. He understood, by the way, after spending time at Pixar and studying stories, he understood what human beings wanted. He said, you know what? Everybody else sees you as this misfit, but you know what? Apple sees you as a hidden genius. We see you as somebody who deserves to be heard. And we want to give you tools so that the world will finally hear your voice. But what was he really selling? I mean, in some of those ads, there were no computers featured in the ads at all. He didn't know how many megabytes the computer had, any gigabytes. He was selling the fact that you are a hidden genius. Well, which demographic of society sees themselves as hidden geniuses while everybody else probably sees them as a misfit? Every demographic. That's the human journey. And Steve Jobs understood it. So when we can participate in the identity transformation of our customers, we're going to win. Think about the movies that you've seen. I mean, Luke Skywalker is wondering, do I have what it takes? And at the end, he proves that he has what it takes to be a Jedi. Bridget Jones, she's wondering, is she lovable? Is she even worthy of a good relationship? And by the end, of course, she realizes, you know what? I'm so great. I'm better than that guy. I think I want actually a healthy relationship. King George in the King's Speech, he gives that final speech and he realizes, you know what? I can live up to my father's legacy. I mean, you just go on and on and on, and they're all about transformation. If we can participate in our customers' transformation, we can do a lot more than sell products. We can help make them and the world a better place. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I really like this company called Gerber Knives. Gerber Knives is a knife company out of Portland, Oregon. You know, they make pocket knives. But I was actually at Home Depot one day and I was buying a stud finder because I was putting shelves in my garage. And I walk up to the stud finder and I'm trying to figure out which one I want. And then right there next to the stud finders are a line of Gerber knives. And I'm like, wow, I kind of want one of those. Squirrel brain thinking, and my executive brain said, you don't need a knife, Don. You're a writer. Anyway, there's a reason that I actually wanted that knife. And it all has to do with this commercial. And the Gerber knife commercial, it kind of went viral a long time ago. You know, it's all these beautiful images of these really tough guys like swimming through rapids, and one guy's underneath a boat and he's trying to cut a rope off the propeller of the boat. And the other guy, he has like bloody jeans and he's using the knife to rip the jeans off of his injury and make a tourniquet. Another guy is wrestling a bull, not wrestling a bull, whatever you do with bulls. And the text that the narrator says over the top of these images, all on top of this anthemic kind of music, says, "Hello, trouble. I think maybe you've forgotten about me, but I'm here to remind you who I am, and maybe you should be afraid of me, trouble." I'm thinking, I want to be that guy, right? So what's happening at Home Depot is I'm not actually interested in the knife. I'm interested in the aspirational identity that Gerber is selling along with the knife. And you can do that too. And I don't actually think it's a bad thing. You know what? I own that knife. It's a $50 knife. You can get a knife like that a lot cheaper. That knife is clipped right now to the dashboard of my truck, right outside this theater. I have used that knife one time. One time I didn't actually need it. I was literally in the backyard and I needed to open a bag of grass seed. I could have opened it with my hands, but I thought, I have a knife. So I ran back to the truck, I got the knife, I walked toward the bag of grass seed going, "Hello, trouble. You better germinate," and I opened the bag of. Let me just ask you a question. I really want you to answer this. I paid $50 for that knife. $50. Did Gerber Knives rip me off? No. I've asked that question to now probably 1,000 people in workshops like this. I've never had anybody say they thought Gerber ripped me. But you guys, they charged me it cost me $50 to open a bag of grass seed that I could have opened with my hands. But nobody thinks they ripped me. I don't think they ripped me. But we're all agreeing on something right now. It's really important that we understand what we're agreeing upon. We're agreeing upon the idea that there can be value associated with your product that isn't actually the product itself. That there's something else happening in the human brain. We're also agreeing on the fact, and I think if we really parse this, we could understand that Gerber is actually helping me become a better person. Even if I'm not actually becoming a better person, they trick me into thinking I'm a better person, and that's a great thing. I just feel tougher because I have a knife stuck to the dashboard of my truck. There are other things that are valuable besides our product. What do we mean by this? I mean, how can you associate your product or service with an aspirational identity? All right, let's give some examples. Let's say you're a financial advisor. Well, you might be offering the aspirational identity of being a savvy investor. If you're a nonprofit, you might offer the identity of being somebody who cares about the world and is engaged and is awake about some of the problems that are happening. Let's say you're trying to sell trucks. You might offer the aspirational identity of being tough and rugged, or if it's a luxury car, sexy and stylish. If you're selling software, it might be that you're helping people become more productive and effective and that kind of person. If you're representing a bookstore, you might be representing the identity of being intelligent or well-read. I want you to think about your brand, and I want you to ask yourself, what can I add to my product and service? What sort of aspirational identity can I associate? What sort of person do I want to help my customers become? And they're going to be way more attracted to you because you did that. All right, so here's your first assignment. I want you to brainstorm everything that you can think of under the category of aspirational identity for your customer. Are they going to be smarter, savvy, well-adjusted, active, tough, all that kind of stuff? As you create your brainstorm, let your mind go. I mean, really just be creative. Just write everything that you can think of. That's phase one. Phase two of this exercise, and we're going to repeat it over and over, is I want you to circle the stuff that you find most interesting. And circle the stuff that's really standing out. And then lastly, I want you to pick one of them and put it on your brand script. Now, here's what you're going to think. You're going to think, Don, I don't know which one is the right one. There isn't a right one. You likely have 23 good ideas. But the power of a brand script is it forces you to clarify that message. It forces you to decide on one. So you're not asking people to burn a whole bunch of calories trying to figure out what your story is about. It's a three-part process. You'll brainstorm each of your answers. You'll decide what you like best, and then you'll choose one and put that in your brand script. What aspirational identity can you offer your customers?
All right, that's a fun video. And what I want you to catch on this, couple things. One is do that brainstorming exercise now, and use your worksheet to talk about and brainstorm different aspirational identities that we want to give future church planters who partner with Reach Network. And then also circle your two favorites when you're done brainstorming. I would say in the brainstorming time, at least spend 3 minutes thinking up different ideas. Like if you need to use a timer for that, but don't go over 5 minutes. All right. And then circle back and circle your two favorite. Come ready to share that in our brand script meeting. Also, Donald talks about the idea of a villain throughout the brand script, but I would say let's not focus on the villain. We won't work on that. There'll be other things that we'll be working on. So anything to do with the villain, just kind of tuck that away in the back of your mind, but we're not going to utilize that. All right. Hey, thanks so much for being a part of this. And you can I hope you have a lot of fun thinking about this, and that the Holy Spirit will use it to bring more people into church planting through the free church. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.